Hey everyone, it's Trans Gurus here. How you doing?
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
So tonight we're joining you live on Facebook, and we want to talk about self-talk. Uh, what do you say to yourself? What is the conversation that goes on in your own mind as you're going on this journey called life? And what are the type of things that you say to yourself to be your own cheerleader? Um, and I'd like to start with someone that is really incredible with self-talk and very disciplined. And it was very apparent from the beginning that Shannon had incredible discipline and awareness over her self-talk, especially when we would always have our talks. So Shannon, please tell everybody, what kind of self-talk do you say to yourself as you're going through life, achieving and accomplishing and doing just you, doing you?
I would say the the most profound conversation is the one we have with ourselves. And when we have inner dialogue with ourselves, the universe is listening. Our thoughts possess energy, and the accumulated energy of our thoughts create our reality. And our self-talk is the most important conversation we'll ever have in our entire life. So what do we tell ourselves day in and day out? You know, do we tell ourselves that, you know, we're going to make it, we're getting stronger, I'm going to do this, or do we tell ourselves the contrary to that? Well, our brain can't tell the difference between a thought and reality. And our the energy associated with our thoughts is immense. And our, like I said, our thoughts. My phone's falling down here, so give me a second. Our thoughts, like I said, create our reality. And I know in my own life, the thoughts that I have, they're all positive, and I have programmed my mind to be that way. You know, when we're born, I think we're born maybe neutral, and when we're growing up, you know, don't do this, don't do that, and so we have to overcome these negative inputs. And kind of how, like, I like to explain it is, think of our brain as having like different highways that connect different parts of our brain, different synapses. And the roads more traveled are going to be like, you know, interstate highways where the electrons messages transport from one part of our brain to another, and they become more reinforced, be it good, you know, good or negative or indifferent. And so if we want to try to rewire our brain to have a more optimistic viewpoint, maybe some of those synapses, those roads are dirt roads, or they're not well traveled. So the more electrons travel from one synapse to another, the road will grow. It'll turn from a dirt road into a super highway over time. Rewire our brain to have a more optimistic viewpoint. Maybe some of those, yeah, there's a feedback somewhere, Ella.
Sorry. Sorry.
It's all your fault. Just kidding.
Okay, let's continue. This is important. So if we want to rewire our brain to be more optimistic and to be more positive, we just have to get through repetition, using our discipline and self-talk to echo positive affirmations. And over time, we can rewire our brain. And so through thought alone, we can change our lives. either for better or for worse. Christian.
When you were saying, like the more that you do it, the more electrons go through, or the rough road that you get on, the more that you travel it, you're able to like update it and continually make it better. That's like working out at the gym. Like when you first start, your body's not used to that movement or that exercise, and the more you do it, the more muscle you start to build, and over time, like you'll see like a bodybuilder, and they have all these muscles and veins and vascularity, and they look ripped and great, and it didn't happen in one day. It took time, it took repetition, it took consistency, and there's probably times in that person's life that they wanted to stop because it wasn't convenient to train for life circumstances come in the way sometimes, but they kept going to the gym, they kept training. And that's the same thing that's how I kind of relate to what you're saying, Shannon. That's that self-talk. Sometimes it's not easy to do, but if you keep doing it, eventually you're going to be like as experienced as a champion bodybuilder.
And over time, the effort may have to be a conscious effort at first, but over time, you'll be walking down the street or just being yourself, and you'll recognize, hey, wow, I just thought, I'm thinking positive. Our dialogue with ourselves is almost nonstop, and we want to look at ourselves as our brain, as our best friend. Our brain and our conscious is our greatest asset, our ability to think. We don't want to think of ourselves as our worst enemy. You don't even want to say that. My brain, my whole being is my best asset. Christian.
I love that. Yeah, it's so important to focus on all the things that you do want for your life, and to stop thinking of yourself as an enemy when something goes wrong, or because the more you focus on that thing, the more the universe is going to conspire with you to get that very thing that you said. So,
and all we have to do is believe.
Yeah. So Ella, what do you believe in? What is your self-talk?
I think this is a very, very important theme from all of us. And I tell you why, because, as transgender people, we go through a very large phases of self-doubt. And this is our biggest enemy. Sometimes we are possible, but we don't want to really think that we are possible. Sometimes we go through all these internal ideas about ourselves, which are not really the reality. It's what we think it is the reality. That's why it's always nice to have some feedback. But, feedback is not always easy to take, because feedback means as well it has to be a creative feedback. And unfortunately, we live in a world that is sometimes very, very negative. Positive feedback is very important. Reassurance is very important for your self-talk. Some people just go in the morning and say, oh my God, it's going to be a terrible day. No, you have to go through the morning and say, what am I going to accomplish today? Where am I going to go next today? What is going to be my beautiful person going to do? And you know what? You just have to follow life as it comes. Because sometimes, I tell you one thing, for example, we are live today in Facebook. This morning, nobody of us knew that we were going to be live in Facebook. It was a kind of spontaneous reaction.
Just like every one of our shows.
Absolutely. And we had the time, we put it together, we are live now with you guys, and please send message back, because we want to help you guys to have this positive self-talk. to be, more and more I want to achieve. My biggest amount of self-talk, you know where it's done? It's done in the night, at night, when I'm in bed. It's there where I take most of my biggest decisions. It's when I am in bed that I was one day, I was smoking 2 packages a day of cigarettes. And then one day during the night, I thought, you know what? From tomorrow on, over with the cigarettes, not more, not one more. And that was about 6 years ago, and I haven't smoked a single one. Yeah, it was difficult the first 3 days. Whoa, it was fucking different.
Awesome.
But we did it. We achieved it. It was self-talk. It's, it's the evening. It's that moment that you've got for yourself. But you have to be positive. Negativity destroys you in the core.
That's a very big accomplishment, Ella. Being able to quit smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. Now, with your self-talk, did you just say it maybe 1 or 2 times and then everything fell into place?
Well, I was already
did you say you had to
contemplating the idea for a couple of weeks before, yes. But it was that moment, that moment when you say, now it's time to change. That moment is so freaking important.
And that's the power of a decision. All we have,
Absolutely.
any milestone in life, it started with one thing, a decision. All you got to do is just decide.
A mindset.
I've got someone online, which is Carson. It's written here, I came out to my parents on Tuesday and they are not happy. Carson, be strong. You will win. You will win. Don't forget, you are a transgender person. You've been a transgender person for a long time. Your parents don't know what that is, so they have to learn about you.
Carson, you would definitely benefit from learning how to reframe the self-talk that you're having in your own mind. And I don't want to cut into what Bonnie may or may not say, but a lot of times, everybody on this panel, I get a lot of insight from, and when they talk, I listen. And I've heard Bonnie a number of times say that, the energy that you bring into a situation is first built with the thoughts that you think about it, and that in whatever situation that you find yourself in with your parents, maybe every day before you interact with them, you can sit there and think about how you want this to go. Script it. Take control of your thoughts on the matter and turn that into reality. That'll help align your actions, because you will start to program what kind of interaction you're going to have with them. So I hope I didn't cut in too much, Bonnie, but maybe you'd be able to add a little bit more into that by giving your own example with self-talk. And
Self-talk for me is the thoughts that go through my mind throughout the day. And I am the driver of the helm of my boat. When I get up in the morning, I think about the day, whether I'm reading my goals or whether I've written down what's today, or I wrote it down and I read it last night before I went to bed. But when I get up in the morning, my self-talk is based on what it is that I want and how I want to be. And I'm going to give you a real quick example. I got off track today because, I don't know, I have a piece of property and a guy bent the fence and then he wanted me to, it's not my fault the truck hit the fence. I mean, it's somebody that works for him and I'm supposed to repair a $2,400 fence and all this other stuff went on. and I stopped. And where does that thinking take me other than emotion is controlling me? Now, when we're talking about self-talk, I am the driver. So therefore, do I choose to be in a good place, a bad place? Am I going to make a better decision being emotionally involved, or am I going to make a better decision if I can step back from it? So I had to close my eyes and I had to do some visualization and relaxation techniques. And self-talk, when I was having all this stuff going on, I wasn't comfortable with my self-talk. My point is that we have a choice. When your brain is thinking about something and it isn't what you want to be thinking about, you can change it. I did. I stopped, closed my eyes, sat down. I did about a 5-minute meditation of relaxing, and I saw myself having a good day, seeing myself letting go of all those issues, because it's not going to solve anything by getting wound up. I saw myself coming here tonight, having my Zoom meeting and doing it live on Facebook. Hopefully a lot of people are listening. Hopefully we'll get questions, and if this works out good, we'll do nothing but a Zoom meeting live and have a bunch of people ask us questions and be able to do nothing but answer questions as opposed to having a topic. But did you hear everything I said? That's my self-talk that I was just sharing with you, the thoughts that go through your mind. When a situation arises and you say, oh, I'm going to have this problem, I'm going to have this problem, oh, how is this going to go? What happens if this scenario? What if this scenario? And sometimes your self-talk can take you off in a direction that isn't in the direction you want to go. It's okay to be aware. You want to be aware and in control of what goes on in your mind and not get surprised. But I'm a winner. I'm a doer. I'm an achiever. I can conquer this. I can master this. I got this. It's no problem. I feel comfortable with it. I know I can handle this. Your self-talk when you're in that situation is the energy that empowers you, that when you go forward, that bubbles over, that you're like, yes, bring it on. And as opposed to, oh God, I have to deal with this. I'm going to deal with it, but do I have to? It's your self-talk right there. My self-talk was holding myself back. And then a second ago, my self-talk was, yeah, I got it. I can do it. I can achieve it. There's nothing. I did a fire walk with Anthony Robbins. The burner on your stove is about 900 degrees. The coals that I walked over were like 1,500 degrees. I walked across those coals and didn't burn my foot, not one iota. And there's more to the story, but my bottom line was, if I can walk across 1,500 degree coals, I can do anything I set my mind to. Oh, that's my self-talk talking, because that part of me that drives me is giving me the energy and what it takes for me to see things in a positive outlook, feel that I can do it. And when I start feeling negativity creep in, do whatever tech. I had to do meditation and I had to do visualization to break the cycle. But bottom line is, I didn't like where I was at, so I changed it. And right now, what I'm just trying to say to you, if you want to be empowered in life, well, be empowered. There's nobody that's stopping you. You're the driver, the helm of your boat. You want to be as happy as you want to be. It doesn't matter what's going on around you. The only thing that matters is you. What do you feel? What do you want to feel? How do you want to feel? And there's always going to be noise outside, and that's what I call it. It's distractions. It's somebody that says, oh, I could have people out there laughing at me right now, and I don't give a shit. What I'm just trying to say is I'm me. I'm okay with me. I'm the one that has to get up in the morning and look at myself. So my self-talk is that I empower myself with energy and enthusiasm and go after the world and take it on. That's my 2 cents.
Whoa.
Thank you.
You got me hyped up over here, Bonnie. So felt like I felt like you're almost like you know how they have those like incredible speeches right before the military goes out to war, like they go into battle. Like, that was like an incredible like battle talk, like 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 a pep talk. I mean, um, so
But it's just like Shannon was saying, our mind doesn't really know the difference between reality and fantasy. It's the way we see it and how we perceive it. So why not perceive it in a positive, energetic, with enthusiasm and energy going forward?
right, yeah, Carson. When I'll say this real quick. When I first came out to my parents, they didn't really understand either, and a lot of trans people have that same experience. So some people would look at the people that had the easy transition from telling their parents and say, "Oh, you're so lucky," but I feel just as lucky. I feel just as blessed that my parents, had struggled with it, because I learned so many lessons. I learned so many different things that I use still today and have come into myself, that is now part of my character, and is now a part of my tool set of wisdom that I'm able to easily access. And with my family, eventually they came to terms with it. They saw that I was going after it in pursuit of my authentic self, and I was walking in conviction. I decided when I was going to come out, at first it was a little scary because you don't know what to expect. It's unpredictable. But as I started to come as one within my body and my gender, I was able to walk with my head held high, and I was able to, like how Bonnie said, I was able to start to change the doubts within my head. And like how Ella says, transgender people struggle with doubts a lot. I was able to change those doubts and started to believe in myself. And that's absolutely key. It cannot be overlooked whatsoever. The results that you get out of life is a cause and effect, starting with the thoughts in your mind. So if you want, cohesion with your family, start working on right up here. And Raji, can you hear us?
She's probably temporarily out.
Oh, I did it.
Sorry. Anyway, I've got someone here, it's Kirsten. Kristen is a good friend of ours. So hi, Kristen. It's really nice that you are here. And we'll try to do our best. I think I know what you mean by visualization and coaches. We love you. And Maria Camille just came in as well. She says hi. So we hope that Raji comes in the meantime. Maria, if you've got any questions, please write down and we'll try to answer your questions. So I think it's really quite interesting because it's our first live show. It was very at the last moment, but we do have some people coming in and telling things. So Raj is back again.
I'm back. Well, first of all, I just want to send. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Raj.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to say that I want to send love and light out there to Carson. I think for most trans people, we can totally relate to what you're going through because my parents had a hard time with it too. But I just want to say to you, it will get better. It will. Trust me. Take it from someone that's been through a lot of crap. It does get better. And so I'm just sending you love and light. In regards to the topic, I just want to say, our minds are powerful. And we as human beings are always talking to ourselves. We can do it by default, where you don't even realize you're doing it, or you can do it intentionally. And I do both. There's times where I catch myself talking to myself and I'm like, oh crap, like what did I just say to myself? Because, you know, for the most part, I try to stay positive, and I've always been pretty much of an optimistic person. However, that doesn't mean that I don't think negative and I don't have negative thoughts. What I've learned to do though is when I catch myself thinking a negative thought, I simply say, cancel, cancel. I cancel it because our minds are so powerful. And I love what everyone had to say. You know, our thoughts create our lives. And so the reason why, like, if I catch myself thinking something negative, I cancel it, then I replace it with a positive thought. Because I think we all do it at some point. You're talking to yourself, and not and talking to yourself doesn't mean necessarily using your mouth and saying the words out loud. We can be thinking and talking to ourselves, and you know, like I said, I'll catch myself sometime, and I'm like, oh crap! Like, what did I just tell myself? And so I've gotten in the habit of like trying to be more conscientious with my thoughts and with my self-talk, and using it, not doing it as default, because we can live our lives in default and just, you know, the laws work. I call them universal laws. They work regardless of whether we're using them intentionally or we're not using them at all. They work. They're working. They're always working. So, you know, my thing is, if they're always working, why not do it thoughtfully, you know, with intention, and as opposed to doing it in a way of default. So that's my take on it. I think that I'll just say this and I'll close. I think for me, as I've lived my life and I've learned how powerful thoughts really can be, I have felt so much more empowered, because as I've lived life and evolved, I realized that we're at the reins of our life. We're creating our lives. You know, we're in the kitchen making that recipe of our lives. So it's great to know that and be able to live in the moment and have that knowledge that I didn't have maybe years ago. Yeah.
Can I
Wisdom is learned. It's
interrupt
not
for 2 seconds? I've got here Jack, which is just asking, this is a very strange question, but I live in a Baptist group. I'm out in the internet and I have secret accounts. How could I start tea without them knowing? So you see, there are many people out there which are trying to come out. So this is a very difficult question, but you have to try to get a counselor. And there are groups, I don't know where you live, but there are groups of people which you can go without your family know. So, you know, just send us a text in our normal, and I'll try to see if we can find a group for you. Okay.
right now. There's a lot of Zoom groups that are out there because of this corona. There's positive and everything if you look for it. There's more Zoom groups now because of corona, that people that didn't have access to groups now can have access. We're all over the place, and we're going to have a website, and we're going to share as many of those groups as we can, and we can do that. But Ella, I see there's some really good questions coming in. Why don't we see if we can't answer some of those people's questions?
Absolutely. There's another person, Chris, has got a question here. What is your guys' thoughts on transgender and increased rates of detransitions after partaking hormones and major surgery? Well, there are always been detransition. Unfortunately, let's put it this way, that our society is pressurizing us to, not to be transgender. I know even someone, which is not far away from here, which has detransitioned, then transitioned again. for reasons from society. But believe me, the amount of detransitioning, the statistics says, is between 5 and 10%, not more than that. So it's not increasingly, it's just, more known. We are more open to many people. Transgender people have been quiet for many, many decades, and now we are starting to have a voice.
And listen, with the group, if you want to add some information or something to when she's reading questions and you wanted to answer that question, it's all yours.
Yep. Okay.
Getting back to what Raji was saying, yeah, we are with the self-talk, we are the architects of our own lives. And humans, we have the ability of thought and imagination and creativity. And all these are instruments that can be used to create our own future. And with the one person that was asking about their parents and all, yeah, I think all of us have said that we've all been there, including myself. And what I have found when I came out to my parents, my dad shrugged his shoulders and my mom blew a gasket. But I continued to be an asset to my parents and provided value. Not only when I visited my parents, but everywhere I went. And my parents finally came around. So it just takes time. But the idea is we want to refrain from trying to butt heads with the ones we love, or anybody for that matter. It takes time. And if we shine as human beings, our light will shine on others, and then they will see, folks will eventually come around. It just takes time. Christian.
I'm trying to get onto the Facebook right now so I could see the comments and be able to remember what the questions are. But I found it right here.
I think, just throwing in there, we may have hit 4,000 likes.
Woo.
And I know we're today, we're right there. And how many followers? Approximately 4,001?
Yeah, we're expecting to have 4,500 followers by tomorrow. Or today, actually. We are 4,470 something. So it's progressing.
Thank you to everybody. And I hope what we're doing is maybe giving some people a place where they can come, or some people can maybe get some answers, and all our questions, so that people understand, are directed to try to at least give some insight to not only trans people, but their parents, their employers, their friends, on and on and on. It's something we're trying to give back to the community in every way.
Absolutely. Chris just sent an email, a text telling not transgender, but transgenders, people who never thought they were trans till the brave moment. And now it's a fad to be transgender by young adults. Well, there's always some phases and some fads. Whatever you call yourself, when you call yourself a transgender, you should actually have some counseling and to try to see if this is a real transgender or if it's just a fad. I don't think there are many people which want to have this fad, because believe me, it's not easy. It's not easy at all.
Well, I think a lot of binary people are there because they're not sure where they fit. Now, I'm not saying it because I don't know. I'm just saying it's been explained to me that sometimes people, when they're binary, it's because they haven't really figured it out yet. So they don't want to be labeled one thing or another. And I don't know. Just thought I'd throw that in. Christian, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say that, with the trenders, like you mentioned, Chris, I can see how a lot of young people nowadays are, they're no different than generations that have already come and passed, and into older adults. Like as young children, young adults, everybody's trying to find their place where they belong, where they fit. And a lot of times, you see there's some kind of recognition and attention that comes with being trans when you're out and you're not stealth. There is, a lot of things going on in politics right now regarding it, and there is a lot of talk and conversations and discussions around it. But with the trenders, I don't have a problem with them or anything. I could really care less what they decide to do. But it also is pretty cool because talk about trying to get to understand what somebody's going through. Like talk about putting yourself in someone's shoes, right? Like talk about now instead of saying you understand by listening to my story or hearing other people's experiences, you actually went through it yourself and you tried to see if this matches you. And now you may have a better understanding of who I am. And if it's for you, great. Glad you figured it out, found yourself, and are authentic. But if it's not, okay, good. Now you got closer. It's the same answer. Good. Now you got closer to knowing what you're not. I think in my opinion, it's pretty good to go experiment and be comfortable with yourself and be brave enough to go out there and try things that are not cookie cutter, like fabric, like factory settings that come along with life that people think need to be in our society. Like you have to act this way, you have to figure life out this way. No, like if people want to do that, kudos to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ella, we're going on 40 minutes.
That's all right. We don't have any limits these days.
Okay.
Anymore.
Do you need to get back in the gym, Shannon?
I'm good for right now, but thank you.
Just so that everybody watching, Shannon is a bodybuilder. I mean, beautiful and a physique to die for, and she's working out in the gym. But being we do this on a Friday night, she stops from her gym, comes and does our meetings, and then goes back and works out. Now that's dedication, determination, a love for what she does. I salute you. That's really
Thank
cool.
you.
That's true dedication.
Thank you.
Okay, I just have probably. Go ahead. Go ahead, Shannon.
No, I was just going to say we just decide. I made a decision many years ago that I was going to improve myself in all categories, and health and fitness is one. And the mind, body, spirit connection, they're all kind of tied together. And the fitness provides the platform for me to hone. So my body is the vehicle in which I drive around in. My body is the vehicle for my soul. So, and you only get one, so I'm going to take care of it. Maybe I do go a little bit excessive with it, but that's kind of how all things in my life are. I try not to throttle back on anything, and that's why we're here right now.
Are you talking about your helicopter when you say throttle back there, dear? Not only is she bodybuilder, she has her own helicopter. I mean, I'm not trying to, I'm just saying that from a sense. Yes, what you just said, throttle back in your life. You are successful because you chase it on a level with all the energy and all the enthusiasm, and you believe in yourself, and you don't let anything hold you back because You were the driver of the helm of your boat, and the reason you had the things you had is because of what you've done, not because anybody's given you anything. And I respect that, and that's why you're part of Trans Gurus. Got a lot to bring to the table.
Well, thank you, and all of us have similar stories. But I'm going to take a line from Zig Ziglar, and if we help enough, this is Zig Ziglar, someone similar to Tony Robbins. But if we help enough other people get what they want, we will eventually get what we want. And this is all part of like Bonnie was saying, you know, all of us here have been around for a while, so we're trying to give back to our community. And in this case, we're not really expecting anything. This is all being generated from our heart.
Amen.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
Because at the end of the day, if you know, it's like going through life, having all this experience, and you know, it's really awesome when you're able to share that. You know, you started as a student of life, and then you go through all these lessons, and you develop yourself into a somebody that knows how to navigate the world and yield results. You want something, and you're able to get it, and having that is a superpower. A lot of people think that they're incapable of tapping into that, and it's not true. You can. Every single person on this planet can. And
the trick, Christian, is the trick is along the way, all those that we associate with, they get what they want.
That's right.
That's the true master. The people that are in our circle, all ships rise at high tide. So in our own circle, everyone is elevated. Everyone. So in our quest to achieve self-mastery, our quest to improve ourselves, all those that we come in contact with are equally influenced, and then we, through being ourselves, we're able to influence all those around us to also elevate their lives. So it's not a one person mission. It's the whole damn, and in this case, it's the whole planet, where we're trying to elevate the entire planet. And that's, I think, as gurus, our mission is to elevate specifically the transgender community, but in essence, all of humanity.
I just wanted to add, I had an air conditioning company, and we were known as a smiley face company, and all our trucks had smiley faces. I had one requirement. Everybody came to work with a smile, went home with a smile. And if you came to work in a bad mood, I sent you home. You lost a day's pay. I tell you what, I changed people's lives. The simple fact, when they came to work and they loved what they did and they enjoyed themselves, and we made the days enjoyable, and we did things, and they went home in a good mood, their home life changed, all kinds of things changed. And as a result of the requirement to have to come to work with a smile and have a good day, their home life became better, and that in return, their whole life became better. So one little simple thing, by giving and by trying to help people, it enhances more. And the more people you can help, that's all you really got in life, is what you can do. It doesn't matter all the other stuff. It's all just noise. How can you help somebody? And if you can help them and make a difference, well, then your life has meaning.
Absolutely.
You know, Bonnie, like, you know how you like incentivize a kid with like, all right, if you do your chores, or if you don't give me attitude this week, I'll give you, you know, I don't know, I'll get you a puppy or something. I don't know what kids get nowadays. But you definitely incentivize those workers to change their tune, and I guess they wanted it bad enough. They certainly did.
And if they didn't end up, they didn't work for me long.
Yeah,
and they learned real quick that I meant what I said, because I sent many of people home, and they knew that if they had an attitude, they had a problem, they weren't going to be there. And that was the only real thing, pressure. was about doing a quality job, a good job, but with a smile on your face. Why go through the day any other way? I don't know.
Time's ticking. It's always moving. It's not going to stop for no one.
Raj, what's your opinion on a lot of this stuff? Share some.
Well, you all can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, it's funny when you said about how what required that your employees come to work with a smile on their face. And I started to think back about all the different like jobs I had, the different companies I worked for in my life, and like from the entry level jobs to like positions that were maybe had a little more clout. I always like went in with a smile and like made the best of things. And so like, when I was like, a salesperson at a jewelry store when I first got out of high school, to being liaison of special blood services at the American Red Cross. I mean, like through and through, I pretty much kept like that positive frame of mind, and I just went in with a smile to work, and didn't take, like, if I was having a bad day or something was bothering me, I just didn't feel like it was fair to take it out on my coworkers or people that I was servicing. And like when I go through like a Burger King and I see like a lot of these young folks today working, and they have like these attitudes, and you ask for ketchup and they're rolling their eyes, and I think to myself, like, God, I didn't do that. And because of that, I believe that it helped me to continue to grow. And I always looked at it like this. If it was a job that I didn't really care for or didn't like, I always kept in my mind that this is a springboard. This is like, this is not going to be forever. This is temporary, but it's going to help me get to the next level. And that would help me get through and stay positive about maybe jobs that I didn't really like that much, or, really didn't want to do. I just kept saying, like, this is an opportunity for me to continue to like grow. And it was, I used it as a springboard, and so that's my take on it. I think when you try to keep a positive frame of mind, and even when you're not feeling it, like you kind of force yourself to smile and to be positive, believe me, it helps. Because if you're doing the opposite, it's going to make things worse. So, and that's not to say that I'm not human and I didn't have bad days, but I'm just saying, for the most part, trying to keep a positive frame of mind, going to work and going through life for that matter with a smile, I think it's such a powerful place to live your life from.
Raji, when you were just describing that situation and like using it as a springboard, and that made me think of when I used to work for a company. I used to go stock for them, and I had a manager come up to me once and hand on the hip, what do you think you're doing? Told you to be doing this, and totally jumped to conclusions before even asking me, like, hey, what's going on? Like, give me an update. Because if she would have done that, then I would have been able to explain to her a very logical explanation as to why I was doing whatever I was doing. And she had a big old attitude, was trying to talk down to me. As I tried to say something, she'd interrupt and try to be dismissive towards me. And like you, I could have easily got wrapped into her energy. Like, she was trying to rope me in. It was like trying to lasso me into her energy, and like bring me down from my strong, solid feeling of like I'm just feeling good and just chilling. And now that person was kind of like trying to pull me in and bait me into a negative frame of mind, and then I would have snapped or reacted and had a nasty comment, or maybe did something I would have regretted, like, you know, getting fired or something for my reckless impulse. But, you know, it was crazy. Like that whole month before me even working there, I was listening to programs and trying to learn how to stay in my center, stay focused on my target, what I'm trying to do, what am I trying to accomplish here. And having that target, that clear, crystal clear target, the purpose of that job was for me to save up enough money so then I could then move. And I wasn't about to allow this little mosquito of an incident, this thing that had no bearing or weight over my life as a whole. It was just a moment in time with a human that is human like me, and it has imperfections and makes mistakes. I wasn't going to let that tear me down and define that part, that which would have echoed and rippled into the rest of my life. So I just sat there and kept my cool. And I just said, hey, you know, I totally understand what you're saying. This is what happened. And when I finally was able to break to her, she totally changed. Her entire demeanor changed. And you know what's crazy? Just like how she tried to bait me and lasso me in with her emotions, I kind of flipped the script. I was able to stay calm and center, and I became the leader, the emotional leader. I led her to change her emotions, to stop being so impulsive and you know, oh God, I'm mad right now, so I'm gonna take it out on you for whatever reason. No, I ended up leading her out of that mindset. And from then on, the relationship with that woman was always friendly, because she knew that now you can't get that out of you, Christian. You're too cool, calm, and collected and happy. Nothing's gonna throw you off. So subconsciously, I changed her programming.
Yep.
We could all do that for each other.
Yeah.
So is it time to call it an evening?
I think so. I would just like to ask, to finalize, we have one of the persons, Lauren, is going to have a SRS, and she would like to make a special show about SRS. So if you guys have got any questions.
I thought she was doing the FFS.
FFS, you're absolutely correct. It's entirely my fault. She's going to do FFS. So if you've got any questions about FFS and procedures and everything, she will be very, very glad to answer you. Just send it to our, to Transgurus.
She's our producer, and she's going next month. And we want to do a video pre and post, and we want to have some questions like, you know, what are your reasons? What are your desires? What are your outcomes? What do you want from this? Just some questions that maybe some people may have, or procedures, or what she's doing, or how she's doing it, how she went about it, how did she find a doctor? And she's going to share that. We're going to put the video up once, you know, after she's had surgery, but this is the first part of the video we're trying to do. And then after surgery, a while after, and we'll show pictures pre and after. Anyway, we want to congratulate her. She's part of the team.
Yay!
Yeah, awesome.
Congratulations.
Hey, you guys.
And thank you for everybody out there in Facebook land that's had something to say or shared. We really appreciate it. It feels good to be able to maybe share some information that's positive.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. I mean, you know, it's great, like Bonnie said, to connect with you all and continue to send us messages. You know, any questions, any topics that you might want us to cover, you know, by all means, communicate with us. We want to hear from you.
Anything that is pressing on your mind that you're trying to find on YouTube and you're looking up all these titles, you can't figure it out, hit us up. Thank you for tuning in, everyone.
Thank you. Bye,
Okay.
everybody.
Bye.
Hi.
Bye.
Love you. Blessings.